How would your colleagues describe you in 3 words?
Pain in the arse. Oh, it's more than pain in arse.
Cool. Okay. Welcome to the sofa, Sherilyn Shackell, founder and global CEO of the Marketing Academy.
Thank you.
What does after work mean to you?
Well, I think after work is the best time of the day, actually. Best time of the day. It's where you chill out, you relax, you reconnect, you decompress. Best part of the day.
Do you think it's because you own and run your own company that you can make it the best part of the day?
Look, I think everybody's got the choice to make it the best part of the day. I just believe that people don't make the right choice. And there were times, even when I was running my own company, before the Marketing Academy, where there wasn't an after work. Like, there really wasn't. It didn't exist for me. But only because I made the choice for it not to exist for me. I could have done things differently. What I do now feel is that it's vital. It's like vital that you have balance. Nobody can have work-life balance. I don't think it's two things. It's one thing. It's balance, just overall balance. And, you know, after work, I guess, doesn't mean after 5:30 or after 6. It can be after that call at 11, before 12, you know, after that thing that you did at 3, that 20 minutes after that.
Yeah.
But time to decompress, time to reconnect, time to breathe, I think is essential.
I think it's really hard to do running your own business.
It's harder to make the choice.
Yes. And I've found that quite difficult. But actually,
I did.
Time for change, maybe. Time not to think that you're just a workaholic and that's it.
Well, and time to even tell yourself that. I used to say, I'm a workaholic. Well, words are really, really powerful, right? And the more you say that, the more your brain will think that to be a truth. The more you'll do things to prove that that's a truth. It's the words that you use. I love my work is a nicer way to frame it, which doesn't mean that it's a disease.
Yep.
Like alcohol.
Yep.
It's a disease that you can't break out of. I love my work and I choose to work these hours today. I may not choose to work these hours tomorrow. Is a very different framing, and it's all in your head. And I used to say, oh, I'm an absolute workaholic. I am a workaholic. So I was.
What was the turning point for you?
Burning out.
Was burnout when you were working for someone else, not for yourself?
No, I never burnt out working for someone else. In fact, I haven't worked for someone else since I was 31.
And this is when you had how many kids?
I had 2 by then. It's quite little. And then I ran that for, what was it, 5 years, 6 years. Really successful search headhunting firm. Oh, and then I had a late baby, and then she was 9 months old when I hit the wall, and it manifested in a illness that could literally have killed me overnight. So it was a physical illness, but it was a whole manifest of, you know, working too hard, working really, really long hours. I was unhappy. I didn't realise I was unhappy. But I didn't like the industry. I really didn't. I didn't like the transactionality of it. I didn't like the ruthlessly commercial element of it. I was good at it. I could play the game, but it didn't fill me with joy. And so there was actually this sort of split going on inside me that I would never faced. So I was tired. No, I was exhausted. I was self-medicating like mad. I mean, I was a really successful drinker. In that I could drink 2 or 3 bottles of wine a night and still get up at 6 and do a fantastic pitch the next morning. So I now realise in hindsight, self-medicating this deep, soul deep unhappiness. And then I woke up in the middle of the night one night and I thought I was dying and I was in excruciating pain and I ended up in intensive care. The recovery of that is, and understanding myself and understanding what had led me there, resulted in the Marketing Academy.
What scares me is you have to get to that point to change.
Well, you don't have to. What you have to do is you have to get to a point where you can at least become a little bit more aware of what's not okay for you. I could have at any time during my career, I could have just made myself stop and think, I would have needed to take probably a week out. I'd have needed to go and sit on a mountaintop somewhere or go to a juicing retreat alone and ask myself some really tough questions. Because I believe if I'd asked myself some of the questions that I asked myself after I got ill, I would have made changes much earlier.
And what are those questions?
Out of every 10 days, how many 10 days do I wake up full of joy? When I bounce out of bed in the morning, full of joy, rather than dread. I was successful, right? I had all of the trappings. I had the massive house, the great cars, the awesome holidays, kids in private school. I had the fucking lot. But I would be lying in bed. The alarm would go off. I'd be lying in bed and thinking, oh, God, really? I've got to do it again. I've got to go in and get like dread. Not every day out of 10, but too many days out of 10. So what was getting you bouncing out of bed in the morning full of joy? Who are the people in your life that radiate energy for you? How many people in your life have you got people that suck energy off? And work out how much time you're spending with them. Spend less. It's really about examining what you want in your life. What have you got that you absolutely love in your life? What are you doing in your life that's using every part of every brilliant skill or capability you've got? Are you using all of those every day? Are you filling other people's lives with joy? Are you leaving any kind of legacy? Are you spreading and sharing joy to other people?
All right, let's talk about your inner coach. So you've talked a lot about transforming your inner critic to become your inner coach. How? Help.
Well, what's really fascinating, so first off, did you know that not everybody's got an inner voice?
No.
Apparently 20% of the world's population doesn't have an inner voice. I've learned over time that many people, the inner voice is critical as fuck. You are not those thoughts, but your thoughts are really powerful. And if you don't start to really have some proper dialogue with your inner voice, then you're just that inner voice is just going to be dripping these thoughts into your brain that just get deeper and deeper and deeper. You will start behaving as if all of those things are true because your beliefs turn into action, they turn into behavior, right? The first thing that you've got to understand, in my opinion, is that voice is actually there to protect you. And it's okay. Thank you for trying to protect me. But right now, I'm not going to listen to you. But if your mind is healthy, it's your choice to choose your own thoughts. Nobody can make you think anything. It's happening inside your head.
So let's talk about vulnerability. You've said we seek to conceal our own vulnerabilities or wounds for fear that they'll be used against us to further wound us. Vulnerability is a virtue. Everyone has wounds, and I'll show you mine if you show me yours. I love that. Is there a moment, because vulnerability is something we have to learn to be comfortable with. Is there a moment where you have to choose who to be vulnerable with?
If you're about to be open and vulnerable with a boss that you've never been open and vulnerable with before, and you open yourself out a little bit, usually the worst that can happen is nothing. And if that's the worst that you get, then continue to do it.
Yep.
99% of the time, the bosses will go, oh my God, what a privilege that you've shared this with me. I can't believe that you've chosen to do this. And let me tell you what's been going on for me. And the second you've got that response, you've got the chance to change the whole culture in that organisation. We had a speaker who is a CMO in a really big company in front of 100 of my alum. And I asked about a dark time in her life, and she said that it was around the death of her father, and that her father had died. She didn't tell us all.
Oh.
She was younger than me, but it would have been back it would have been back at the time. She was up and coming in her career. It was a corporate environment. We were taught. I was taught you do not show any weakness, and she saw that as a weakness. Didn't tell a single person. I have another one in Australia. This blew my mind. That I had a scholar in Australia in the workplace, pregnant with twins, or certainly pregnant, miscarries, doesn't tell a soul.
Stop.
Goes back into the workplace like a week later, just tells them, doesn't tell anybody. Nobody in the workplace. I've had scholars be gay and not out. And I mean until they're like 35 years old, where everyone in their life knows they're out, except for their place of work. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, it's just an anathema to me now. Back in the 80s, I get it, but it's still happening now. And I'm like, you have to live your true self. Look, your employer is demanding that you show up with your true self.
Yep.
That means the whole you.
Mm-hmm.
That means all of your strengths, all of your weaknesses, all of your weirdnesses, all of your triggers, all of your tweaks, everything. Because you can only be the best leader that you can be if you are 100% living in your truth. So why conceal? Why hold the fear of what might happen? So you've got a vulnerability. So, you've got an illness or there's something going on for you at home. I swear to God, if you told 10 people in the workplace, something similar would have happened to 8 of them. And they may have been thinking, I can't share this with anybody. I can't tell anybody I'm going through this. I'm going
It just
through...
breaks my heart that some of these people don't have the support from the place where they spend a shit ton of their time.
Yeah, 80% of their waking life, right? A speaker called Kamal Sama in Australia. He is a Buddhist monk turned investment banker. And he said this quote at one of our really early boot camps about 10 years ago. He said, we spend a disproportionate amount of time building relationships with people who won't come to our funerals. And I remember thinking, if I had died on that day when I got ill, I don't even think I'd been able to write the list of the people that would have been at my funeral. And if I had, it would have been very few people that were around my life at that time in my life, because they were clients or they were candidates. They weren't like deep relationships. And I remember thinking, I am going to spend the rest of my time building relationships with the people I want to come to my funeral. And I live that every day, every single day. And the Academy has brought these spectacular relationships into my life that will be with me for the rest of my life. And, I believe that it was only because I made I took the risk or made the jump or whatever to do this incredible thing, which has been a complete privilege.
That is what I call the most gutsy, amazing leadership I've ever seen.
Oh, thank you.
We're on final question.
Okay.
What's your biggest professional mistake?
Literally not giving myself time out earlier to go and sit on a mountain and go, I've got one life. I want to make it the best life possible. And I want to positively impact on as many people as possible. And I want to leave a legacy. What's that going to be?
What keeps you up at night?
Is if I get an idea that I get really excited about. Oh my God, I can literally be lying in bed going, just calm down, because I'm getting excited about this thing. So I do get, if something energizes me, that will keep me awake. I do have worries and concerns. I'm 60. I don't know how long I can keep the energy level up to be able to run the Academy. What's so important is that if the Academy dies with me, I have fucked up completely.
Yeah. Finish the sentence. If I wasn't running the Marketing Academy, I would be a
dead person. Because look, if I hadn't been through what I went through, I could literally well have been dead within a year, because I would have recovered from that
and carried
but
on.
I wouldn't have changed my bed. Yeah, I wouldn't have changed my life.
Thank you so much for coming to this.
It's been
I
a
so
pleasure.
appreciate it.
Pleasure.
I've learned a ton from that one.
Good. Thank you.
Most embarrassing thing you've ever said in a meeting?
Oh no, I don't know. I embarrass myself more than not in meetings. I'm terrible with people's names, so calling people the wrong name. I don't know what your name is.